It was marketed as a candid, nuanced conversation on vaccine policy, American freedoms, and the 2024 election. The MSNBC primetime special, Voices Across the Aisle, promised viewers a rare, in-depth sit-down with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the controversial independent presidential candidate and heir to America's most iconic political family. The interviewer, Claire Whitmore, MSNBC's rising star, known for her razor-sharp intellect and piercing questions, she was often praised for how she politely dismantles egos in real time. The network had billed the special as a respectful, balanced conversation, but that illusion would collapse within minutes. The set was subdued. Dark navy background, softly glowing spotlights, a single round table between the guest and host. Claire sat poised in her tailored blazer, a folder of notes before her. RFK Jr. entered with calm confidence, wearing a black suit and striped tie. His gravelly voice and intense stare immediately commanded the room. They exchanged greetings, small smiles. It started slowly. Claire Whitmore. Mr. Kennedy, thank you for joining us. Let's start with the basics. Why run as an independent in a race already consumed by division? RFK Jr., calmly, because both parties have sold out to corporate interests, because the media, your network included, has lied to Americans about everything from COVID to Ukraine. Claire raised an eyebrow. You've accused outlets like MSNBC and CNN of being propaganda machines. Do you believe we're lying to the public right now? RFK Jr. leaned forward, his voice low. Director. RFK Jr. I don't think you're lying, Claire. I think you believe the lies you've been fed. That's far more dangerous. The studio fell silent. The producer in the control room looked up from his notes. Uh-oh, he's coming in hot. Claire smiled politely, but her eyes sharpened. Claire, you've made controversial claims about vaccines, the CIA, in the 2020 election. Many consider them conspiracies. How do you respond to that? RFK Jr., coldly. Conspiracy is what they call truth before it becomes undeniable. I don't need your label. I have the receipts. She shuffled her notes. Could you clarify which receipts? Because many fact-checkers, RFK Jr., interrupting, fact-checkers funded by the same pharma companies that profit from silencing me? Claire, please. The tension was no longer subtle. It pulsed through the studio. RFK Jr. adjusted his mic, cracked his knuckles, and leaned in even closer, his voice growing harder. You call this journalism? It's theater, controlled opposition. You're not investigating power, Claire. You're protecting it. Boom. The quote hit social media within minutes after the live stream began. Staffers backstage stared at each other in stunned silence. The tone of the segment had shifted, and the worst was yet to come. The interview was only 11 minutes in, but the temperature in the room was boiling. Claire Whitmore attempted to rein it in. Claire measured. Mr. Kennedy, our viewers deserve clarity. Do you or do you not believe vaccines cause autism? RFK Jr. didn't blink. RFK Jr., sharply. What your viewers deserve is a media outlet that doesn't serve as a mouthpiece for Pfizer. He slid a piece of paper across the table. A printed chart with pharmaceutical company contributions to major media networks. RFK Jr. You get paid to call me dangerous. But what's really dangerous, Claire, is that no one at MSNBC has the courage to say what's true anymore. Claire, visibly agitated. You're deflecting. We're asking about your own statements. This isn't about our funding, RFK Jr., voice rising. No, this is exactly about your funding. And the fact that you've never done a single report on vaccine injuries, on military corruption, on CIA operations at home. She leaned in now, composed but biting. Claire, you're accusing us of being state media? RFK Jr. No, that would be too generous. State media serves a government. You serve corporate overlords. Gasps from the control room. Even the assistant director whispered, "What the hell is happening?" Claire tried again to regain footing. Claire, Robert, you're a Kennedy. Your family represents legacy, dignity, and leadership. Are you proud of turning yourself into a headline machine for conspiracy theorists? RFK Jr. narrowed his eyes, then dropped the quote that sent the internet into a frenzy. My family fought for truth. Some died for it, and you're just here to read cue cards for Comcast. Twitter exploded. Memes were instant. TikTok stitched his quote onto dramatic black and white footage of Bobby Kennedy. Senior MSNBC's legal team went on high alert. Claire sat in stunned silence for 3 seconds, then fired back. Claire, tense. You think insulting the press makes you look strong? It makes you look paranoid. RFK Jr., flatly. No, Claire, it makes me look awake. Just as the interview reached its boiling point, something unprecedented happened. One of the producers suddenly walked onto the live set, a major breach of protocol, and whispered urgently in Claire's ear. Her face changed. She looked stunned, then composed herself and spoke directly to the camera. Claire, we've just received an unexpected live call from former President Donald Trump. The control room panicked. Director in earpiece. Kill the feed? Take a break? What the hell do we do? Too late. Trump's voice blasted through the speaker system, loud and unmistakably agitated. Trump, on phone. Put me on the air. I just watched this joke of an interview, and I'm not letting this fraud Kennedy lie unchallenged. Gasps. Claire froze. RFK Jr. smirked. Claire, recovering. Mr. President, this is an unexpected intrusion. Trump, interrupting. Yeah, well, truth tends to intrude. Bobby here's been running around pretending he's the outsider, but he's a Kennedy, the swamp royalty. The media protects him, and now you're letting him bash me while I'm off screen? RFK Jr., leaning toward the mic. Donald, no one protected me. I'm here, facing questions. Something you avoid unless you have a cheering crowd. Trump, you're a clown, Bobby. Just a vaccine freak who turned truth into a brand. You were nothing until people got tired of Fauci. RFK Jr., and you were a populist until Big Pharma wrote your checks too? Silence. Claire, shaking her head. Well, we seem to have 2 presidential candidates on air now. Shall we make this a debate? Trump. Debate? With him? Please, he'll crumble the second I bring up his ties to China. RFK Jr. I'll debate you anywhere, anytime, but not over a phone like some angry podcast caller. Twitter was now melting. Viewers were screen recording the stream, uploading clips within seconds. Live commenters screamed, "Is this real life?" Trump just hijacked MSNBC. RFK versus Trump live? This is history. Claire just unlocked political Thunderdome. The control room was in chaos. One senior producer whispered, "This might be the most insane moment in the history of live cable." The situation was now unscripted madness. MSNBC had lost control of its own show. Trump was still on the line, refusing to hang up. RFK Jr. sat forward, eyes locked on the camera, enjoying the disarray. Claire did her best to mediate, but the tone had shifted into full-on verbal combat. Claire, firmly, "We need to restore order here. Mr. Trump, this is not a campaign hotline." We're live. You are not a scheduled guest. Trump, you're lucky I called. Your ratings just tripled. RFK Jr., cutting in. America's dying while two political dynasties scream at each other on TV. That's the sickness we're trapped in. This, right here. Claire nodded. So let's return to substance. Mr. Kennedy, your environmental record. Trump yelling over speaker. Forget the environment. Ask him about his anti-Israel donors. Ask him about his anti-vax lunacy. RFK Jr. Ask him about selling out American jobs to China, about hiring Wall Street to run the White House, about bragging during a pandemic while people died. Claire looked at the camera, visibly shaken. Claire, softly. America, this is your reality show now. The moment went instantly viral. The clip, America, this is your reality show, hit 10 million views in 2 hours. Reddit threads blew up. YouTube exploded with commentary from all sides. TikTok flooded with remixes of RFK Jr.'s Stare and Trump's audio feed being layered with circus music. By the time MSNBC finally cut the feed, the damage was done. Political commentators called it the wildest 36 minutes of television in modern history. And the chaos wasn't over. Press teams for both Trump and Kennedy were now preparing dueling press conferences, while MSNBC scrambled to answer for how they lost control of a national broadcast. The question on every American's mind: what the hell did we just witness? The morning after the MSNBC catastrophe, every major media outlet led with the story. CNN, chaos on live TV, Trump hijacks MSNBC, RFK Jr., unleashes fury, Fox News, MSNBC implodes on air, RFK and Trump tear into media. New York Times, unscripted, unhinged, unprecedented. Clips from the broadcast flooded the internet. Edits with dramatic music, slow-motion reactions, and meme overlays went viral. RFK Jr.'s line, "You're just here to read cue cards for Comcast," was now etched into pop culture. At MSNBC headquarters, crisis meetings were called before sunrise. One senior executive reportedly screamed, "We gave RFK Jr. a platform, and Trump crash-landed a missile on top of it." Internally, blame spread like wildfire. Claire Whitmore was both praised and condemned. Some staffers said she kept her composure. Others said she lost control. Meanwhile, RFK Jr. held a spontaneous press conference on the steps of a courthouse in Manhattan. RFK Jr. to media. "What happened last night wasn't chaos. It was honesty breaking through the illusion of control. You're just not used to it." Reporter. "But you and Trump both yelling on MSNBC. How does that help the country?" RFK Jr. "Truth isn't always polite, especially when power's being challenged." Within hours, Trump responded, not through his campaign, but through Truth Social, where he posted, "RFK is a lightweight. I dominated that interview from a phone." That post alone got 2.3 million views. Both men suddenly found themselves locked in a bizarre media dance. Rivals, but also co-authors of the most viral political moment of the decade. Polls began shifting. RFK Jr.'s support among independents jumped by 6%, while Trump saw a 3% increase among hard-right voters. Biden, meanwhile, remained silent. His team refused to comment on what they called a circus disguised as journalism. But just when it seemed things couldn't escalate further, someone leaked the behind-the-scenes footage. At 8:42 p.m., 2 days after the MSNBC chaos, an anonymous X, formerly Twitter account named at Mic Drop Leaks, posted a single silent video. Caption, "You've seen what happened on camera. Here's what they didn't show you." It was raw backstage footage from MSNBC's green room, captured minutes before RFK Jr. went live. The recording showed Claire Whitmore speaking with a producer, unaware her mic was still hot. Claire on video. If he gets weird, let him. We need a viral moment. I'm not here to play softball with another Kennedy. Producer. He's already edgy. You poke him, he'll snap. Might be good TV. Claire smirking. Exactly. I want that moment. Twitter lost its mind. Conservative influencers screamed, "Proof they set him up." Left-wing commentators said, "This shows just how desperate cable news has become." Moderates just asked, "Why is this what journalism looks like now?" Even former MSNBC anchors weighed in. Keith Olbermann tweeted, "This is not journalism. It's ratings bait wrapped in provocation." RFK Jr. immediately reposted the leak with one word, "Told you." MSNBC went into full damage control. A formal statement was issued within hours. The clip was taken out of context. Claire Whitmore is a respected journalist, and any implications of bias are unfounded. But the public wasn't buying it. That night, RFK Jr. did a live stream on X with over 1.1 million live viewers, where he addressed the footage directly. RFK Jr. to camera. You saw the truth behind the truth. They tried to bait me. It backfired. But now you know they're not interviewing us. They're setting traps. He then stared into the camera for 5 seconds. Silent. Stern. I'm not going anywhere. Within 72 hours, the story had shifted from a live interview gone wrong to a full-scale media reckoning. Claire Whitmore took a leave of absence. MSNBC denied it was disciplinary, but insiders whispered otherwise. Meanwhile, congressional Republicans used the moment to propose a new bill, the Media Transparency Act, which would require networks to disclose corporate sponsorships before political interviews. Democrats called it a PR stunt, but the public was paying attention. Podcasts, YouTubers, and TikTokers flooded the web with theories, breakdowns, and reaction content. MSNBC exposed RFK just nuked corporate media. Did Trump plan that call-in? Even Trump, never one to stay silent for long, tweeted out a doctored video where his voice interrupted not only RFK's MSNBC interview, but the Gettysburg Address. The caption read, "When greatness speaks, history listens." RFK Jr. responded with classically biting sarcasm. When narcissism speaks, the rest of us reach for the mute button. The exchange reignited their mutual hatred and locked in what many now believed was inevitable: a Trump versus RFK Jr. debate. Live, no filters, no rules. Networks scrambled to offer themselves as hosts. CNN, ABC, even Joe Rogan's team reportedly submitted proposals.